We've still got a lot of exciting Premier League games for round 9, and we're discussing them as usual, giving our thoughts on what we think will happen in these fixtures. First off, Victor, Arsenal are looking like the team to beat at the moment. 4-0 victory over Atletico Madrid. But what has been making the headlines for Arsenal is not even the goals, it's the fact that they are not letting goals in, or they are not even letting shots in, if you would say it that way. So the question is, do you think they will be able to keep Crystal Palace quiet in terms of goals?
Okay, look, I can easily see a 0-0 here, to be frank. I think I've mentioned in the predictions show I've picked under 2.5 as my bold pick, under 2.5 goals, and I absolutely stand by that. But it does hinge on Gyökeres being marshaled better by the Palace defense than he was against Atletico Madrid. Atletico were a bit naive in a fair few situations, and it resulted in a brace for him. But yeah, I think for Arsenal, absolutely best defense in the league. I can see them keeping a clean sheet here without much fuss.
Interesting. If you were to ask me, I would have told you that this is the one game I think both teams will score. But yeah, that's the duality of man. Over to you, Max. City have actually put on a decent run of form, which is coinciding with Haaland's consecutive run of 12 games, finding the back of the net, right? So will they be able to see up Aston Villa easily, or is there a potential upset on the cards? Note that Villa are also enjoying a newfound resurgence as well.
I mean, maybe a couple or I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, I would definitely say that it's gonna be an easy game for City. But recently, Villa showed a pretty great form, and they're playing at home. And they used to be a great team at home, as we all remember last season. They didn't look for like maybe 15 games or so at home. So it just feels like it's gonna be a pretty tough game. But looking at Haaland form, it feels like he's gonna score again, one or maybe two, and it would be a hard task for Villa to come back from that. So I would probably say that Man City is slight favorites, but I'm not sure that they're gonna win.
Interesting. Anyways, just to say again that as at the time of recording this video, Nottingham Forest are yet to play Porto in the Europa League. But yeah, moving on, the Premier League era, for Sean Dyche and Nottingham Forest will begin with a trip to Bournemouth. Victor, the cliche saying, new manager bounce and blah, blah, blah. Do you think that could be possible for Forest against Bournemouth?
Oh, mate, they better bounce. Otherwise, they're looking for a new manager before the next international break. I think if they find half the defensive solidity they had last season, they might be able to restrict Bournemouth to just one goal. But it's going to be very tough for them regardless. I say it's perhaps better that Sean Dyche's first game for Forest is in the Prem away, disregarding the Europa League game, I mean. But it's better that it's away, because if they get embarrassed again, at least they have United at home next weekend to redeem themselves.
Interesting. Back to you, Max. Having lost to Aston Villa last weekend, Tottenham failed to score in midweek against Monaco, in a game that a lot of us expected goals, actually. But now, what do you expect, or what do we expect from Spurs against Everton away at the weekend?
You guys better expect nothing from Spurs, because you're gonna ruin your expectations every single week if you wait at least something from Spurs. I mean, it could be 3-0 Everton, 3-0 Spurs, 0 draw, pretty much everything. But as I have to pick a favorite, I would still probably go with Spurs for some reason, at least in my head, because they just have much more potential in attack, and they're not that bad at defense overall, because yeah, they didn't score, but they didn't concede against Monaco, that used to score at least 2 or 3 goals every single game that season at League One. So I would say I don't expect a lot of goals here, and I would probably say that Spurs are slightly favorites for me.
Fair enough. We'll see. And just on a final note for you, Victor, Burnley actually recorded their first win of the season last time out, over Leeds. Do you think they'll be able to make it 2 in a row over bottom placed Wolves?
I don't think so. I think Wolves are getting close to desperation territory, and that's a dangerous team for someone like Burnley. Leeds were a little bit more relaxed because of how their campaign had gotten so far, but Wolves, mate, they're cornered. They managed to draw against Brighton in their last home game, and that will give them some heart, I think. And that's one of the things that makes me think Burnley are in trouble here. A draw is definitely on the table, but I'm actually backing Wolves to win this, especially since they do have 2 home wins this season against West Ham and Everton. Even though, yes, those came in the League Cup, but Everton, that's a much better side. Even with a kind of a second string starting lineup, Everton is still better than Burnley.
Fair enough. Anyways, that's a bold one to say Burnley would not beat Wolves. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how that is going to unfold. And there you have it. Those are our thoughts for round 9, what we think will happen in the Premier League this weekend. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Will Arsenal be able to continue their run, their defensive run, keeping out keeping out teams from scoring? Will Liverpool record yet another dominant win against Brentford? Will United beat Brighton? Myself and Victor do not see that happening. Max thinks it's going to happen. I don't want that guy to cut his hair anyways. I think he deserves a bushy hair for a while. And yeah, we really don't know what to get from Spurs, and what are his worth. Is Haaland going to continue his goal scoring run once again? All of that and many more. Feel free to comment in the section below, and we'll be sure to reach out to you.